everyone, it's Angie and welcome to another video. And today I'm going to be coloring a Draw This in Your Style sketch I made the other day. I found this challenge on Instagram and I had saved it a while ago to draw it later, but I totally forgot about it until recently while I was looking through all of my saves and I saw it. So if you don't know what a Draw This in Your Style challenge is, it's basically a drawing that an artist make and they challenge other artists to draw the same picture but in their own personal way. And I like this one because the pose was more dynamic and the colors were so vibrant. I've been trying to use more orange and yellows for a while now because I noticed that they were the more longer and newer colored pencils I had, and every other pencil was like a stub. So I just had to use this Draw This in Your Style and use all those oranges and yellows. At first, I didn't think it was gonna look good, and it took a while for it to look good to me. I think it was because I didn't use my micron pen to make the line art, and instead I used the coal erase colored pencils I have. I've been experimenting with them and trying to line my art with them, and it's been going pretty well. I think I need to lighten my sketch a lot more though, so that it doesn't get muddy, and so it looks a lot cleaner when I use the coal erase colored pencils on top. Also, I've been using them because I have a good amount of them just laying around and I need to use them up. They were like one of my first nice artist quality colored pencils that I got in middle school from one of my favorite teachers, and I can't believe I still have them. Like, they're still like new too. I guess part of me doesn't want to use them up because they're kind of like a memory to me, but I really do need to use them up. For this drawing, I'm using my Strathmore Mixed Media sketchbook, and I've been having it since last May. And I used it for Mermaid and basically haven't used it since, but I think I'm gonna have to fill it up with a lot of art challenges, and that way I can finally finish it up. I want to get to the point where I'm not using so many sketchbooks at the same time and only have like a couple sketchbooks in that year, and that way when the end of the year comes, I can finish them and they'll be complete, and then I can do like yearly sketchbook tours, and that way it's easier to keep track of how long it took me to finish them, because all of my sketchbooks basically from like the past are from years and years like in one sketchbook, so it's really confusing to keep track of how long it took me to finish, especially since I never dated my sketchbooks, and it's super annoying that I didn't. So now I'm going to try to get on top of that and fix my old bad habit of never dating a sketchbook. So I'm going to try to do all the challenges I like the most from Instagram and that I find online and put them here and post them on my Instagram. I think that that'll be a good way to finish this sketchbook a lot faster. When I was sketching this in the beginning, I definitely had a hard time drawing the hands and the legs. And the pose was just a bit tricky overall because I normally draw portraits and not a lot of dynamic poses, but I really needed to practice drawing them. Oh, and also making the hair not blend with the sweater was pretty complicated because they're basically the same colors. And so I decided to add brown in the shadows and yellows in the highlights to give the hair more depth, and I really like how that looked. The original drawing for this was done digitally, and there was obvious line art that added contrast to the girl and made her stand out a lot. Also, the outfit that the girl is wearing is super cute and unique, and I don't think I could have come up with something like this. But anyway, using this color palette was the best. I love the blues and the bright oranges and how they made the drawing have such a happy and energetic atmosphere. I'll probably be using this color combo in other drawings of mine and other stuff too. Before this Draw This in Your Style challenge, I actually had made another one and I didn't record my process and how I made it, which I really wish I did because it used a really similar color palette like this one, and even though the pose was really simple, I love the creativity of the colors and the fish and the butterflies in it. Also, that drawing really got me to make this one and actually film it this time. This drawing actually took me a while to finish. And I tried using a lot of layers with lighter colors and not pressing so hard on the paper with the colored pencils so I could get a lot of color variations and slowly build up the colors so that they blend together a lot more naturally. And for the blending part, I didn't use my colorless blender pencil, which is a special waxy pencil from Prismacolor that blends all the other colors a lot easier. And so instead, I just used various shades of the colors and some white to build up all the colors. I used to use my colorless blender pencil a lot, but lately I've been practicing with just trying to blend with just different colors and practice color mixing. And I think this way it gives the illustration a lot of depth and makes it more interesting to look at with all the different undertones and instead of just one flat color. More towards the end of this drawing, I used darker shades of browns, reds, and blues to outline the girl and make her stand out from the page. And I didn't even add black at all. I think I only used it towards the end to make the pupils of her eyes and strokes on her eyebrows. When I took my first art class in school, I used to use a lot of black and even used it by accident when the teacher told us not to use black in the project. I didn't really understand why at the time she didn't want us to use black, but now that I've been practicing a lot more with color mixing and just learning more about color, I'm understanding that black isn't really found in nature, and she wanted us to practice color mixing to make a dark color that would be really close to black and use that instead of black. And so that would give it a much more realistic look and feel to our artwork. So now I'm really starting to like more realistic color palettes for my artwork and practice color mixing a lot more. And towards the end of this, I used pinks and reds and magentas to add blush to her skin and some shadows with the browns and deep reds. And then for the highlights, I used my Unisigno pen, but it wasn't really getting like a crisp highlight lines that I wanted, and it wouldn't really get a smooth flow either. I guess the color pencils were just really thick on the paper from all the layers of pencils. And so I used my dip pen for the highlights in the end and my white ink. I'm using the Daler-Rowney ink and it worked really well. I haven't used it too much since I got it, and I mostly have been using the white pen just because it's so convenient. But I've noticed that the white pen goes down easier on watercolor paintings instead of colored pencils. So I used my dip pen for this and it was going on really smoothly with no tracking or anything like that. I used it for the stripes of the shirt and to add highlights on the hair and eyes. I honestly might have added too much highlights everywhere and added highlights in places that don't really make sense, like parts of the hoodie, but I love this part of the process and it's just so rewarding. And in the end, I loved how it turned out. I'm definitely going to be doing a lot more of these challenges. And I don't know if I'll film them all just because I already made this one and I don't want to have just challenge after challenge after challenge. But I'll be posting these finished pieces on my Instagram, so go check that out if you're interested. And if you want to see more art from me, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one, guys. Take care!